It is a futuristic movie, post-nuclear disaster, about a war that ensues between the East and the West, and it pits man against machine, and it's a story of love and acceptance, and it's a beautiful vision of Gareth Edwards, the director who conceived of this movie, and it's his vision, and he is a visionary. He is an extraordinary director, and this is his story, and he's been living with this for years, and I feel so privileged to be asked to be a part of it. What's so unique about it is that he, instead of filming everything in a studio with a green screen, we are in this beautiful country, Thailand, and we're shooting in these really exotic places, and he will add to that, add his touch and all the special effects on top of these beautiful locations that we're shooting in, and I think that's a really smart way to do it. I get to play this Colonel Jean Howell, and Jean is definitely her mission is to destroy all machines, all artificial intelligence, because she sees them as being evil, and if we don't kill them, they will kill us. I'm going to be so excited to basically tell everyone you have to see this in a movie theater. You have to go to the movie theater and watch this beautiful work of art, because it is a work of art. It's one of the reasons why I did this movie. I was sent, they call them previses, where I got to see the visual, like they would send me a shot of an actual location, and then what they laid over on top of that to create Gareth's world, and I was so blown away by that. I thought, oh my God, sign me up. I want to be a part of this.
It's great. I've always been a huge fan of Gareth ever since Monsters, because I think with that he did an incredible job with very little, and the film has the impact of a major scale, but without him having done very much. He's very clever. And then all the way up to Rogue One and Godzilla, he has a way of creating like an incredible world, but also a visual style that is really attractive. And so as soon as I knew it was one of his films, I was very excited from the audition process. He is this strange character, and he comes at a part in the film where you don't really understand where your loyalties lie as an audience. You're not sure if Joshua is a hero or not. Omni seems to be working for the establishment because he's a police inspector, but he's also in line with those forces in the jungle that are looking after Alfie and trying to look out for the AI insurgents. And so he's kind of a complex character, but he does very brutal, cruel things. And so he has been really fun to play. I think he's my favorite. Satra is probably the one I find slightly difficult, because he's a very present character. He's the one you'll see throughout most of the film, but he doesn't speak a huge amount. He's just, he just has this sort of like, the way I see it is like a desire to prove himself all the time. So he's always being Harun's sort of like guard dog, or like attempting to do, if Harun wants to knock someone out, Satra is someone who'll do it, because Harun wouldn't get involved with all of that. So he's almost the opposite of the quiet, commanding presence that Omni has. I mean, the cast is phenomenal. John David is, he's a remarkable lead. Gemma is incredible on camera. Ken Watanabe is a legend. Sturgill Simpson, obviously, is similar to me in the sense that he never really, acting was never really his primary focus, shall we say, but he's turned out to quite enjoy it. So we get on quite well. I think what Gareth likes as well is, I like to try as many different things as I can within a scene. Sometimes you'll land on something when you block it out and enjoy it, and you'll just continue doing that and refine it and wait for your coverage, and then you'll nail it by the time the camera's on you. But often, if I think I've done something really well and I know that I might feel that it might have been covered, then I will try and do something else, so there's an interesting edit point. And so Gareth just rolling and rolling, I think he embraces that as well, and he likes different things to happen. And because there's no emphasis on composing perfect shots, doing it, moving the camera, readjusting for that shot, everything becomes much more organic, and I think Gareth would say documentary style. And when that happens, interesting things that could never be scripted pop off out of the scenes, and that's like the most exciting. That's when it crosses the boundary between being theatre and being film.
The sort of journey that Joshua goes on in the film, it's a journey you don't want to go on. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's sort of like, you know, in a movie, in a story, what you do is you take your character usually and you chuck them into a situation they just don't want to be in. Like, every bone in their body resists going on that journey, but it's the journey they need to go on to become a better person, you know, or to fix themselves. And so, like, going into making the film, it was like, this is going to be hard. They were inseparable. Like wherever, poor JD, like wherever he sat down on set, like Maddie would just come and sit next to him. Like, she like loved JD. And it was so good for the movie that's how those two bonded. The film is set in the near future, right? Where the world is divided in two, like East and West. What has happened is a terrible catastrophe happened that got blamed on AI. And so in the West, they completely banned artificial intelligence, like completely got rid of it from every product. But in Asia, there was no such problem, and they carried on developing it until they became near human-like, and they embraced them like fully as equals. And so America essentially are at war with Asia, trying to defeat AI. John David Washington plays a character called Joshua, and they need Joshua to go back to help them find this weapon and destroy it. And sort of the big reveal early in the movie is that this weapon just happens to be in the form of a 6-year-old child. And so through the journey of the movie, it forces Joshua, John David's character, to start questioning everything he thought about AI and what's real, what isn't. And it's very timely in that sense. It's really a fairy tale. Like, on one end, you can read into or think a lot, you know, it raises a lot of questions about technology and AI and, you know, what's really going on with that. But on the other side of things, it's also a fairy tale, like, about kind of a reluctant father who, through circumstance, is forced to help a child.
The cast is incredible. Obviously, John David, I have most of my scenes with. He's just a joy to work with, and we've really enjoyed kind of figuring out who these characters are and their dynamic, and it's just been, yeah, a dream, really. Who else? Like Ken Watanabe is wonderful, very playful and very kind of mischievous, as well as being an absolute badass. So, yeah, that's been great. Yeah, and Madeline, she's extraordinary. She's incredible. She's the star of the show. I would say it deals with a lot of big themes like prejudice and grief, family, and I mean, the big questions, you know, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be alive? And can love kind of transcend, you know, those divides and boundaries? It feels like it could easily be around the corner, really, with the advances that are going on in AI and technology, and who knows what state the world will be in by 2070. Yeah, I mean, it's just around the corner, really. I think it doesn't feel that far-fetched, to be honest. And I think Gareth's really clever in terms of how he's built this world, which is very much, obviously, we're shooting it now, but everything he adds in feels, from what I've seen from the kind of test footage, feels very organic and very natural. So it is this blend of like old world, but it's our world, and the kind of futuristic stuff. So it just feels very grounded. Oh, you have to be on your toes with the way that Gareth shoots, because you know he's kind of shooting. He can be on any. You're live the whole time, and it's good that way. You have to just always be on and always in character and just completely immersed in the scene. And things move very, very quickly. But I really enjoy working that way. I mean, it's been a challenging environment with the heat and the thunderstorms and everything else. And some of these locations have been quite tricky. But I've really loved working with this group of actors and with Gareth and. Yeah, the amazing crew.
I think Gareth has this great ability to inject, you know, human behavior, warmth, compassion, you know, human imperfection, in a sci-fi genre that usually depends and leans on spectacle and danger, and it's a happy balance. So for me, some of the themes were, I think there's a line in the film that how can you love something that's not alive, you know, and you know, is choice love more powerful than programmed love or you know, obligated love, you know, and some of those themes really struck a chord with me, and how, you know, interesting in the reality of, you know, how political and divisive, you know, anthropomorphic, you know, societies can be, and that's what this, I think, themes are very evident in this film. It is the hardest thing I've ever done, you know, and I've had some challenging stunts. This is by far the hardest thing I've ever done. Getting strung up and dragged around and tossed around in a giant spacesuit that weighs a ton. And still trying to look heroic. Honestly, it didn't become looking heroic. It wasn't about looking heroic anymore. It was more about survival, and again, going back to like with these circumstances, they really dictate and changed and molded the performance. So that was a good thing. So shout out to Weta. What is Maddie going through to be able to emote the way she does, to be able to bring such life into, you know, this character? You know, it's extraordinary. I think she's gonna go as far as she wants to go. I hope she keeps acting because she's really good at it. And again, that's another part of the reason why I just felt like I'm in service to her. I just want to make sure she's comfortable because she's so good. Everybody had a great attitude about it, and we're in these beautiful locations. So if you didn't have a good attitude about it, then you really shouldn't be here. Like, but that all helped. You know, that chemistry was natural, you know, so hopefully it plays, you know, on screen, but I believe it will. But everything we were finding was fun to find together because we thoroughly enjoyed each other's company, and everybody was so good. I mean, Allison, she did a take once where she just started crying, and it was out of nowhere, and it was just like she's showing so much emotion. Then she was trying to mask the emotion and just being, it was just so many different choices she was making. I couldn't believe it, what I was seeing. It's a complicated world. I think we're just seeing man's creation and artificial intelligence at its peak. And it might surprise you. What we're used to seeing in, you know, movies like this, it might surprise you what you will see in this film. It's not like any other, you know. So that's the best way I could describe it. It's a beautiful blend of atmosphere, traditional, you know, these beautiful locations, exotic locations, with what mankind has developed.
I came in to this job. I'm so excited to work with Gareth, and I'm even more excited that I get to work with Gareth now. And I didn't think that I could get higher than that, but I just love how he's, you know, I mean, he gives the actors a lot of freedom to do what they want to do, and at the same time, I know that he has a vision for this film, and you 100% want to trust what the direction that he's going. But also you know, the way that we're shooting this film, it's super unique. Unlike anything I've ever done. It feels like we've taken a journey. I mean, we have taken a journey on this around Thailand and shooting in these beautiful locations that we would probably never see if we weren't doing this. And yeah, it's kind of, I mean, it's in a weird way, it's kind of been like camp as like a teenager. Just going around with your buds and finding new stuff and getting to play around and make a movie. It's been super fun. I think this movie is unique because of the script. Not that everybody's going to read the script, but when I read the script, my first thought was, I've never seen anything like this. And I knew that Gareth had just a great vision for this film. And I could, you know, I saw this, he sent a kind of a concept video, and all the boxes checked off, and I think the story in this film is, I think it's so relevant to today, and in a way that isn't like pounding people over the head with the story. And I don't know, I haven't talked to Gareth about any of this. I think the symbolism in the film is something that people need to see right now. And it's just done in such a cool, original way.
We first meet him in current, you know, what we would call contemporary 2060, and he's moved on from the military and compartmentalized or probably dealt with a lot of that trauma. And he has a simulant girlfriend named Cammie, and he runs a robot factory, and he's sort of just gone native and is living his best life and trying to put, I think, a lot of, he's learned to empathize more. And then in the past, Drew was more of a Team America, kill the terrorists, kind of like go-getter special forces soldier. And it was like mission above all else, even his friends, and probably a little more hyper-focused. So it was fun. Really feel like I got to play two characters. Without even seeing anything visually, just reading the script, I could tell this was going to be a very fresh and original, much needed injection into like the sci-fi world of somebody also like telling a really important human story, but showing you this thing you haven't seen before in a way that, you know, I think it looks pretty awesome myself. Gareth is, he is seeing everything in real time. He's holding the camera, which I think cuts out a lot of triangulation and middlemen unnecessity. But he's following our performances as opposed to making us serve a shot. So there's more freedom and creativity in that environment than you're ever going to get in, say, doing the same take the same way 97 times until somebody walks by the table exactly the way he wants them to. Whereas he's, I don't know, it feels like at times like he's shooting a documentary and we're living this life. If that explains it, it's great. John and I had a long conversation about it one day, and he also, you know, we give it to him off the page, and then he also lets us run. So it's, like I said, it's my favorite job I've ever had, probably because of that and because of him. Because he's honestly like one of the kindest, most gentle human beings you could ever like hope to take orders from, you know? I was really fascinated by this idea that, you know, 40 years from now, humanity will become so disconnected from each other because of technology that naturally the only solution is for us to make up robots and program them to be compassionate and empathetic and give us the thing that we now need more than anything that we can't get from other people.